So, it's something my parents would appreciate for once. I read the paper. Phoebe was so on to me last time about not knowing what I was talking about and all, and kind of guilt tripped me about, well, not knowing, and at least in her opinion, that is. So I decided to pick up a paper, and I realized I was angrier about, what I'd imagined would be inside than before. I read a few articles about the decline of education, and that really got me going. But first, they kicked me out of Pensy for failing. God knows what for. The professors are all fuzzheads and morons, and if I had anything to say about it, then I don't know. I'd fire all the phonies and I'd rehire teachers that actually gave a damn, who actually could separate their pompous ideals from their teaching ability and all. You always hear that back and forth about teachers and their unions and the tax cuts and the size of the classrooms and the kids' attention spans, but no one ever thinks about asking the students once and just saying, hey, what kind of job do you think this kook's doing? Here's an evaluation form. I've never once been asked about my professors at Pensy or any other institutions I've had my way around in. Not once. Everyone just wants to know what I'm learning, and if I'm not learning, then why am I not trying harder? That's what's wrong with the American education system. Kids are just pawns. I'm the loneliest guy I know, and that's no thanks to the way they do business around here. For all they know, their students are lame and deaf. But the thing about teachers nowadays, Pensy and elsewhere, is that most of them are flat out nuts. In some states, teachers are given tenure, well, such as in this one, after 3 years, and very few of the idiots are rejected during that phase. I read somewhere that in some magazine called Newsweek, some union buster guy was talking about how hard it is to get a bad teacher out of the classroom. He said it takes, on average, 2 years, $200,000, and 15% of the principal's time to get one off the teacher list. Well, 99% of teachers get satisfactory evaluations. Kind of wonder why that is. And I also wonder who's making those evaluations anyway. I can tell you, it's not the students. If I had anything to say about it, I'd fire all of goddamn Patsy. I don't have any say, though. I know that most of the phonies in class, at least, don't really care enough to want theirs. You take a guy like Stradlauer, for instance. I mean, he's the first example that comes to mind. If you want an example that is of a typical compliant, and guys like him, they take their so-called education significance with serious grain of salt. That is, unless keeping up with smarts is going to help them fit in or stay popular or well-liked. Human beings want to be loved, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I don't know, they go about doing it wrong. Most of the time, the love that they receive anyway isn't the kind of love one should be really looking for. They don't deserve it. And it's phony. It's fake. It's really not worth pursuing anyway. And that's why teachers don't teach and kids don't learn. And as for that decline in education and all, do all the government hotshots really think that they're helping the matter by cutting tuition by 30%? In California, tuition fees went up 30%, 33% that is, in the middle of the semester last year. You can't keep increasing the cost of schooling and then criticize children and their parents for not learning enough, for not pursuing their education more. I mean, it's crazy, and that kills me. I mean, think. With public education getting crappier and crappier, and private education getting more and more expensive and more unreachable, what's a kid supposed to do? It makes joining the army or dropping out like I did more attractive. In 2007 to 2008, 68.3% of public high school kids graduated. Well, according to the Department of Education. Well, that's like 1 in 3 kids not graduating. And I start to wonder, and I'm a smart guy and all, mind you, that maybe jumping ship before I graduated school was a lot better than sticking around for the show. Maybe all the kids who dropped out were a lot smarter than all the successes. Or maybe I'm all backwards, because if I'm thinking such things, it probably means the education system here is just depressing. And speaking of depression, and depressing. I had this dream once. I think I told you about it all before. I was sitting on the edge of some crazy cliff. What I have to do, I have to catch everybody before they go off the cliff. I mean, they're running and they don't look where they're going, and then I have to come out from somewhere and catch them. I didn't really realize it before, see, but I know that the dream of the Ryanol is probably something about how near I am to falling myself. I wish I could be in control, but I can't. I'm on the edge, and I think a lot of us are. I think it might be because of the terrible time that they give us and that we jerks give each other in school and all, and I figure maybe after that too. No one has the initiative to change for a lot of reasons. That maybe the dream of the right bothers me because I'm realizing now that even though I escaped that mental institution, Pensy, I'm still nowhere as near the freedom and the contentment that I wanted before, that I was in before. Too, and I think that could be a metaphor to feeling like I'm alone, obviously, but that aside, I'm realizing that now I'm close to adulthood and freedom and all, and I'm also realizing that no one really cares about your dreams. Yeah, there are exceptions to every rule, but all those exceptions, I don't know, they always have a goal or a plan or an ideal that they want you to reach, and only certain people fit into those ideals. A lot of the time, well, the only ones who fit are held in high regard, while everyone else is ignored and forced to find another place where they can be accepted. And that's the hard thing. Finding someone who accepts you for what you are or what you're trying to be, and changing your persona is easy. It's just getting everything else right that is the hard part. And that's why I chose to run. I'm yellow, I tell you, and I admit it. I told you the thing I'm really afraid of most is the guy's face. And I realize why now. I don't want anyone to look me straight in the eye because I feel like they'll realize then that nothing's really there. About the unions, about the schools and everything, I bet all those reasons behind everything I just talked about is because I'm a coward. But at least I have an opinion, I guess. And that's what's really wrong. The world asks a question and nobody raises their hand anymore. And that's what really kills me.